All right, welcome everybody. This is Eric here with our STAX AI backtest for the month of April. It is Tuesday, May the 6th of 2025. I've gotten the last 3 months of backtesting done for you guys. I want to do this a little bit different this month. Just getting you guys the most recent months done, and then I will do an update for looking through the rest of them. But most of the rest of them probably are not going to have too many updates. With that being said, quick little note: we saw a 86.21% win rate. I will put an asterisk on this. I will show you in just a moment. We do have 29 prints for this month, but I am not counting those small percentages. So now if anything's under 15% return, they will just get a yellow or gray coloring and they will not be counted as a direct win. But we will still give you those numbers. So just understand that we're going to be a little bit strict on our parameters when it comes down to what is considered a win. And that way you guys will get a better idea of what's going on here. On average, 71% average returns. We have a win rate now of 91.04% on a total of 357 total callouts. So we've got quite a few callouts now from the beginning of our STAX history. Wanted to make sure you guys understand that. And our average return for all of those callouts now stands at 213%. We did see our fourth largest number of prints this month, and we did see quite a bit of buying for names such as SLV, Tesla, and Coinbase. And our two biggest winners, SPY saw a position where they saw 312% returns in about 18 days. And there's a TSM position that returned 187% in 10. So I want you guys to understand why people say stacks don't miss. Let's get into our back testing numbers. All right. Very quickly, I want you guys to ignore the top two. These two came in the month of May. These, again, are showing little bits of returns, but at this point, these are not being considered for our back testing for this month. I did export this on the 2nd. Today is the 6th. There are a couple more prints that just came in. For example, today we saw 4 new prints come in, but again, you guys will get those at the end of next month. If you guys are part of STAX, you guys can already go and see them. So far, we've got 25 out of our 29. You can see that hit rate here, 86%. But I will put, like I said, that asterisk on there. Technically, in the past, these, even at just that 1 to 6%, are going to be considered wins. So if you did consider those from our previous backtesting, you would add 3 more onto here. That is 28 out of 29, so a 96.55% return. But our team was talking, and there were a couple of our members that were asking. A lot of them are not taking their profits until it hits 15% or higher, so we're going to use that as our level to gauge where we actually are going to consider them a win. So we're going to cut that down now. So again, it's 86% return, or 86% win rate, which is still pretty awesome. And I wanted to go over this. We saw 29 total prints for this last month. You'll notice they've been buying now for 2026, even some for 2027, and quite a few here. The ones I did point out already, we saw this SPY, and I do want to point out IWM here as well, and QQQ. We don't see too many of these in our STAX AI. So when they are purchasing for these, you'll notice a 90% return on that QQQ, a 312% for SPY, and this IWM at a 47% return already just throughout this month. Some other noticeable ones that I want to point out: SLV right here wasn't too big of a win, but you do see one over here that's already sitting at an 87% return as well. Other things, we did see quite a few with earnings, things like that. There are, for example, a couple of these ran through their earnings already. I do want to point out here too as well, we will be seeing, I believe, this Tiva one tomorrow morning, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as to see what's going on. A big one too, Palantir has been going crazy, and we do have some from previous months as well that have shot up quite a bit. Jumping back into the past 2 months before, because here's where we had, we had a couple of misses here. The two blue W's here and the two blue W's down here show that these numbers have been adjusted. Let me double check this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there we go. So this was at 12 out of 19. This was at 17 out of 21. Those win rates have now gone up just a little bit with those updates in here as well. Oh, hold on. Never mind. I want to change that. Just this one. Okay, just this one. So actually this was at 13. Now is at 14. There still are a few misses in here, and you can see on the left here, this is just a quick gauge for us to get an idea of what's gone on. This graph on the right is the one that shows us from when they entered and what's gone on with the stock itself. The left one is a quick way for me to be able to gauge from the highs to today. It gives me an idea if I need to double check to see if it's gone higher for those options callouts as well. But you'll notice we did have quite a bit of a drop last 2 months after all the tariff news and things like that, our Liberation Day. And you'll notice that some of these definitely are hurting at this point. But again, if you are careful with your positions, making sure that you set your stop losses or start to take profits as they've gone higher, you should be seeing some solid greens from a lot of these positions. Some notable prints, Palantir has gone up quite a bit. This one, they got in at 24, had dropped quite a bit, but now is looking at a went up about 45% from their entry. And you can see it had a drop and then came back up. Other notable ones, K-Web did jump quite a bit back in February. TLT bonds have gone up quite a bit here. Palantir again, like I showed you earlier. GDX gold had a crazy run up. This one already has more than doubled. This technically tripled. 215% return at this point. And so you can see STAX is still doing a great job calling it out, even though there's been quite a bit of fear in the markets over the course of the last couple months. So keep that in mind. So again, last month, month of March, hit rate 90% now, average 31%. And then for our month of February, jumped up just a little bit, 73%, with a average return of 45% now. I will go a little bit deeper into these ones from previous months, but again, a lot of them already have pretty high hit rates. I already double checked on the ones that were misses. There were no changes to those at this point. So the only thing that will possibly change is that we might see a few higher returns as well. But I wanted to get this video out for you guys because it is already the first week of May, and I know a couple of you guys are itching for this back testing, so you guys can get an idea of what's going on with our STAX AI. So you can take a look down over here. Added this for this month. Keep in mind again though, with these, there are, you can take that with a grain of salt. There is a possibility that some people would consider this to be a little bit higher, closer to the 90 to 95% hit rate. But again, we want to be transparent. We want to make sure you guys understand something like a 1 to 5%, at this point 1 to 15% return. I know most of you guys are not taking those profits at that point, so we're going to consider those to be a wash. Those are not exactly a miss, but they're not going to be called a win at this point. So keep that in mind. Overall hit rate, 91% hit rate. So 90% of our options prints through STAX AI end up giving you profits at this point at over 15%. So you can take a quick look in here. There are a few that in here I am going to go back and change up. For example, some of these have already been solidified into previous months. but you'll see the majority of what we're looking at are actually quite high. Okay, there are every once in a while a few that are in that lower, under 15% range, but not too many. Okay, not too many. So keep that in mind. So again, if you guys do have any questions with us, I want to make sure you guys go ahead and message us, help@investorcentralclub.com. We're always here to help you guys out. If you guys are interested, there are just a few spots left with our code. Our code for our STAX software, $25 a month, code 125. There's only 1 or 2 spots left, so make sure you guys jump in. That's a 75% savings for your first month. So you guys can try out our STAX software, go through it, get an idea of how things are, hopefully make a profit that first month so that you guys can continue to use it to your advantage. Again, if you have any questions over here, please let me know. We're always happy to do this for you month to month. I will be back later in this month to give you guys to see if there are any additional updates down here. I will adjust some of those numbers for those percentages that are a bit lower, so you guys get an idea of, if you're aiming for 15%, what the real hit rate of that would actually be. Again, you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your month. Happy trading with STAX AI, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.